After 8 rounds of talks, Britain are no closer to agreeing terms with the EU when it comes to a post-Brexit trade deal, with Brussels holding firm with the notion that it will not allow Britain to leave the bloc, yet still enjoy the benefits that member states hold. The EU Commissioner, Ursula von der Leyen, has stated that there is a chance that a deal can still be reached, stating that where there's a will, there's a way. However, it seems that in spite of her optimistic encouragement, EU leaders will not sacrifice EU rights in order to strike a deal.
We want a deal because we think it is better to have a deal as neighbours. Also on top, in these COVID times with devastating impact on the economies, it is good to have a deal, but not at any price.
UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has called on his so-called friends to use common sense when it comes to striking a deal with Britain. However, since the UK decided to leave the EU in 2016, it seems that many of the friends that Johnson was referring to are now more acquaintances rather than brothers, as they look down on the estranged island that decided to leave the family. One of the key sticking points of the trade talks have now moved into the sea. Not this time over a virtual border between Ireland and Britain, but this time over the access and policing of fishing waters, something that the UK Prime Minister wants to see emulate the current Norway-style deal the EU shares with the Scandinavian country. Officials in the UK claim that Norway hold rolling negotiations with the bloc when it comes to fishing quotas and access, and is hence something that could be conducted in a post-Brexit era.
No one questioned the UK's sovereignty in its own waters, without any question. But we ask predictability, and we ask for guarantees for our fishermen and fisherwomen who have been sailing in those waters for decades. It is very clear that there cannot be a comprehensive trade agreement without fisheries, without a level playing field, or without strong governance mechanisms.
However, there is a spanner in the works. French President Emmanuel Macron has demanded the EU retain the current status quo when it comes to EU fishing rights, which, as things stand, allow the French fishing fleets to enjoy the most beneficial slice of the cake when it comes to fishing in shared UK-EU waters, but is something that appears to be upsetting other EU leaders interested in finally striking a deal with Britain, with both Ursula von der Leyen and Charles Michel calling for all sides to stand down from the extremities of the negotiating tables. It seems that another tool is needed when dealing with the issue. It seems that the UK will happily break international law when it comes to dealing with Brexit, and is hence why the EU have started legal proceedings against Britain when it comes to the so-called Internal Market Bill, which, if passed, could breach the internationally acclaimed Good Friday Agreement. But in spite of the bickering going on, one EU leader has emerged as a potential peace dove, especially when it comes to the notion of a Norway-style agreement over fishing rights, as Angela Merkel steps into the mix, stating that it could be one way to finally come to an agreement. With Merkel appearing to attempt to buffer the rift between France and the UK over fishing rights, could the act by Merkel cause another rift within the EU itself, as Germany and France show signs of a difference of opinion when it comes to dealing with the British? It seems that Britain is currently at its weakest point since the referendum took place, with Boris Johnson admitting that every week is a struggle, as Britain sinks ever deeper from the economic impact of Brexit already being felt, as well as the sucker punch delivered by the COVID-19 virus on the island. Add to this the fact that Britain could soon be entering a second lockdown, as coronavirus cases hit over 12,000 per day in Britain, and one could argue that now would be the ideal time for the EU to come together and finally show the UK why leaving the bloc was a terribly expensive and costly mistake. What's for certain is that the EU will unlikely allow an internal rift to emerge from the negotiations, and will likely see the more experienced leaders of the EU place into check the more junior members, as the negotiating team of Barnier stand firm on their path and make sure that any deal struck with the UK will deter any other EU nation from trying to leave in the future, as the EU once again proves that it's better to be stronger together.